Oh, good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug. I'm on my way to meet Daryl from Wander Eats for breakfast, and I'll talk about why in a minute. But I just happen to be passing the embassy of Nepal, and I find it kind of interesting how many men are here every day. Like the crowd that you see behind me and around me, that's here every day. Like every morning when I come out, there's like 100 men, maybe 50, 100, something like that. And I've asked around, and apparently they're all getting their passports renewed. Or maybe, I always thought they were doing something with a work visa, because, you know, they're working here in Malaysia. But someone told me, no, you do all that at Malaysian immigration, that they're here to do something to get a new passport. I still doubt that, because how can that many people need a new passport all the time? There's no way. So I think they're processing paperwork and getting stamps in their passport to do with their work, stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting. As I said, every single morning there's a group that big. So I'm meeting Daryl at a restaurant called Yut Kee, or Yut Kee? Probably Yut Kee. Yut sounds kind of not as nice as Yut, so it's probably Yut Kee. And he actually sent me a message, according to WhatsApp, at 6:09 this morning, and said, I'm having breakfast at Yut Kee at 7:30. Feel like meeting me there? And of course, I said yes. Lately, I'm not as much of an early riser as I used to be. I was up at 5 a.m. routinely for a long, long time. Lately, however, my daily patterns have changed, so I'm not always wide awake at so early in the morning. So in this case, I think I don't know, I woke up 6:45. Yeah, I think somewhere around 6:45. And I looked at my phone and I saw the message from Daryl. So I had a very small amount of time to, you know, get up, take a shower, shave, and I thought I'd bring along my camera. Well, I'm bringing it along also because we're doing some technical testing. That's why Daryl and I are meeting up. So anyway, I was rushing around a little bit. And as I may have mentioned in a previous video, Daryl is gearing up for a trip to Vietnam. He's going there for work, but he arranged to have a few days free, and he's heading up to the beautiful mountainous town of Sapa in the north. So he's going to Hanoi, and then I guess he's arranged a trip up to Sapa for a few days. And he's been inspired to bring along his Action 3, you know, DJI Action 3 camera, and he's been putting together his set of gear to go there. And Daryl and I recently have been doing a lot of work with audio. I'm a bit of an audio fanatic. It may not seem like it, but I do like good audio in a video. And I've always sort of been testing different microphones, different options. And I find it difficult to record good audio for a video like this if you're just sort of walking around and you do things like I'm aiming the camera at me, but then you turn the camera around and you aim it ahead of you, and then you might talk to another person that you come across, and then now you've got, you know, two people and you want to capture two voices. You know, there's a variety of types of microphones, you know, wireless mic, which is what I'm using most of the time, and shotgun mics, wired lavalier mics. But anyway, Daryl purchased a new microphone. I'm not sure I can remember the full name. It's the SmallRig Wave, but I think it's SmallRig Wave WC1 or something like that. And the key thing about this microphone, it's a wireless microphone from SmallRig, which is interesting. I didn't know SmallRig made electronics. I thought they only made like mechanical adapters and connectors and, you know, all for camera gear, cages and cases. very good stuff. But I didn't know they made microphones, but they do now. And the SmallRig Wave is very small, you know, very tiny units, one microphone and one receiver. It has a few interesting features. Maybe I'll get Daryl to talk about them. With my Rode Wireless Go system, I have two microphones. So I have one on me, one here, a second one. Maybe I can convince Daryl to put it on. And over breakfast, I'll ask him to talk about the Wave and tell me why he bought it. You know, what features was he looking for in a microphone? So yeah, he's probably already there. It's like 7:29, so I'm gonna be 2 or 3 minutes late. Yeah, this is where I am right now, just crossing over the river. Yut Kee is just over here in a small side street to the right. Feels very humid today. There's moisture in the air. Yeah, I can feel it. It's very sticky. Yeah, surrounded by all these are the older buildings of KL, but still skyscrapers nonetheless. Of course, right behind me, as always, KL Tower. I came across another couple of YouTube channels, YouTube travel vloggers who have come to Malaysia, and I haven't done anything like a deep dive into them. With one channel I watched, he has 2 videos in Malaysia so far. It's called Zane Travel, and yeah, okay, I scanned his overall history, and he does have an interesting story in that he said in his videos he's 30 years old, and this trip is his first time outside of the United States. So for the 30 years of his life, he never went anywhere, and then now he had the opportunity to pack up and go traveling. And I'm not sure I can remember his story of exactly where he went. Where did he start? I think he landed in Thailand, and then he ended up going to, I think, the Philippines, maybe, yeah, I'm stopping in the middle of the street just because there's a constant flow of traffic here. It's like that every morning, and it just goes around in a circle. It's like a non-stop flow, and it never stops, so you kind of have to just walk out into traffic and hope they let you in. Pizza Hut sign, look at that. Passion gives you more of life. I don't know. Feels like a pretty ridiculous statement. Doesn't really mean anything when you break it down. Sounds good though. Yeah, Zane Travel. Yeah, I think he went to Thailand and maybe the Philippines, then maybe Vietnam, then back to Thailand, and now Malaysia. But yeah, the main reason I kind of started watching his channel is when I learned that it is his first trip overseas. Because that can be quite something. Your first time to go somewhere, to leave your own country, and it's interesting to hear someone, you know, talk about that, talk about their impressions, how they behave, the things they talk about. Especially in modern times, I'm more, you know, my history goes back to the days of, you know, the backpacker world, where everyone had a Lonely Planet guidebook and that sort of thing. And of course, Zane is heading off into a travel world of smartphones and tablets and booking hotel rooms in advance. And he appears to have a, you know, fairly good, a healthy budget. So he's staying in, you know, nice hotels, things like that, which is very foreign to my experience when I think back to my first trips overseas. And, but I do enjoy his Malaysia ones because I'm fairly familiar with Kuala Lumpur, and just to hear him and see him walk around and the things he says, the things that happen to him, it's kind of interesting. For example, he went to KL Central from the airport. He took the KLIA Express train, takes him directly to KL Central, and he needed to go to Pasar Seni in Chinatown. And I thought, okay, he'll hop on the Kalanajaya line, and he's right there. It takes one stop, and you're there. It's really easy. But he didn't know that. He somehow thought he had to go to the Kajang line, I guess, because in the video, the next thing you see, he's at Museum Nagara on the Kajang line. And the walk from KL Central for the transfer to the Kajang line, that's a journey. I mean, it's like a maze, a long, long walk. It's a complicated, I don't know how in the world he got there. He doesn't show it or talk about it, but I thought, oh, okay, you took a long detour, you know, and but he eventually found his hotel. I think he stayed at the Four Point Sheraton in Chinatown, quite a nice hotel. So, and then he moved to Bukit Bintang. But anyway, that's one of the channels I've been following. I'll talk about the next one after I meet with Daryl. Oh, so here's Yut Kee. I think they're used to me by now because I've been here quite a bit. Might even be our usual table. Hey.
Hey, morning.
Morning. I'm a couple of minutes late, and yeah, you can't be late at Yut Kee because the food gets here so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm gonna pop in. Yeah. One thing I wish it had is like an audio readout on the front.
Ah.
It has an audio signal on the
back,
rear screen,
yeah.
but they give you this brand new GoPro with a front-facing screen, which everybody loves, and then they don't put the audio
Meter, right?
meter,
The level,
thank you, the audio meter on the front.
Yeah.
Again, GoPro geniuses at work, you know? Maybe it's cost
But
cutting.
there are two batteries here. The other one is for the mic or for the medium? Cannot be the medium.
No, one is
the SD card. Sorry.
Yeah, SD card.
I
Yeah.
see.
So that's the battery, and that's the SD card. But on the back screen, it gives you more information.
Yeah,
It tells you what percentage, but it doesn't have that on the front. So yeah, it's more limited.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And you can
Okay. Thank you.
and you can set the screen to different sizes, or you can have all the information go away if you don't want it so cluttered.
Correct.
But I have it currently set to turn off, so now because I don't look at myself, I find it distracting.
That was 1 minute, right?
Yeah, I think I have it set to 1 minute.
Yeah, same battery. Why not?
Yeah, it's more about not being distracted by it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not really about the battery, because I have a lot of batteries.
Yeah.
So I have to change batteries anyway, so. Well, I'm here at Yut Kee. I finally joined Daryl. I was 7 minutes late, you know, bad. But yeah, I was running late, a little bit slow this morning. And I've got we both have a chicken chop.
Yep, that's right.
And I got my ice cham, which is my favorite these days. Well, it's not pronounced cham, is it? Someone corrected me, but I forgot. Cham.
Yeah.
Just cham.
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
charm. CHARM.
Okay. Oh,
So it's
charm.
Charm. But it's without the R, so it's charm.
Okay, but on the menu they don't have an R on it. They
No,
always
I
just
mean
have
it's
it.
pronounced as charm. So I mean the closest I could get is charm, which I mentioned, but
Okay.
without
Okay.
the R.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of an R in there. Charm.
Charm. Charm. Yeah.
I think if I said the word charm
Yeah.
with a Canadian accent, you're hitting the R too hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like. Anyway,
Charm.
charm. Because I knew there was something about the pronunciation.
Yeah.
And just before I got here, I was talking a little bit about a couple of new YouTube channels that I came across. So I was talking about Zane Travel
I see. Yeah.
and how he just arrived in Malaysia. And I watched 2 videos, and I was quite amused at his. Well, how did he pronounce at the beginning? Bukit Bintang. He said. He said something really like a very unusual pronunciation, you know. But I can't remember
A few
what he
things
said.
that got me as well, but I think the one stand out is that I think when he was at Lot 10, oh, that's the LRT, but that was not
Oh, yeah.
the LRT.
Well, to be honest,
But yeah, you would know.
I was going to leave a comment for him on that because I noticed that, and I was going to warn him because in this case, I'm on his side.
Yeah, of course.
For me, it's all MRT. I don't care whether it's LRT, MRT, monorail, rapid KL bus. For me, it's the MRT system.
Yes, correct. Train
And
station.
yet,
Yeah.
if you ever say MRT and you're on the LRT, whoa, you're going to hear about it from Malaysians because no.
Yeah.
You have to be.
I think in that context is what we are worried about is, for example, you get on the wrong track, right? Because especially for a foreigner, oh, I'm taking the LRT. No, you should be taking the MRT.
Yeah. I'm more focused on the name of the line. Like, what line is it? And it doesn't. It's irrelevant to me whether it's an MRT or LRT.
Yeah. My mom was just down here a few weeks ago, as you know. So for her, I was trying to encourage her to get, familiarized with the trains. And what's interesting to me was that eventually she was like, oh, am I going to the yellow line or the green line? I was like, if that works, why not?
Yeah, no, I've talked about that so many times. Yeah. I do find the naming conventions here kind of confusing.
Of course.
And it feels like it would be worthwhile to adopt something, like there's the red line, the blue line, the green line, just give them colors and that's the name of the line.
Yeah.
Or, I was thinking you could do something interesting like name them after indigenous animals and birds of Malaysia. But that always seems like a good idea when you bring it up. But in real life, you don't want to get too cute with naming.
Yeah.
It'll haunt you later on.
Yeah.
You'll get tired of it and it'll seem really dumb eventually, Like naming your YouTube channel with a pun or play on words seems like a good idea at the beginning. Seems fun, but over time it just becomes tiring,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to kind of warn him, in the future, make sure if it's an MRT, you say MRT, because you're going to get corrected every single time. But in his case, to be honest, or in that situation, it was kind of reasonable because the monorail is quite different.
Yeah.
It's the one that is different from all the others.
Yes, correct.
Even, I mean, LRT and MRT lines,
quite close.
You can transfer from one to the other inside the station.
Correct.
The monorail, not necessarily. So it is set apart. So, and it looks dramatically different.
It's much smaller as well. Shorter. And the interior is very different.
But I discovered a new channel last night. Oh, I think I told you about the McDonald's one.
Yeah. A lot of people are doing that nowadays. The McDonald's comparison.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, their channel name to me seems like a mistake too, because I can't. It's.
Oh, I didn't see it. What was
Bags Packed Family.
Oh.
And every time I try and remember it, I can't. It's like, okay, what is it? The family with bags packed, or they pack their bags as a family? But I guess what it means is bags packed is like an adjective describing the type of family they are.
Yeah.
So they are a bags packed family.
Yep.
But then me being an English editor by trade, I want a hyphen between bags and packed to combine it into one. Oh, okay, so that's an adjective modifying family.
Do they allow that in
What's
YouTube?
Do they allow hyphens?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Yeah. Another question. Which McDonald's were there? In KL? You saw?
No.
Oh.
They were in Malacca.
Ah. I see.
But I haven't done a deep dive into their channel. I haven't looked over their history. I just saw one note on their about page that said they used to live in Alaska, and then they did the usual thing. You hear that story, we quit our jobs, we sold our house, got rid of all our possessions, and I guess they've been traveling for 7 years.
Wow, my God.
But what's going on with YouTube and kids? Because I remember there was a time YouTube announced these new policies where if there are children in your video, you can't have comments and you can't monetize, right? Didn't that exist for a while?
Not the monetization part, but you have to declare. So if you, I think I think one of the key things is you need to be wary that it needs to be kids friendly. It needs to be a lot of things that you need to take care of, and then yeah, you need to do the declarations. But that's about it, I think. But the kids are still allowed to do, let's say, their own.
But I'm
channel.
pretty sure you weren't allowed to have comments. The comments were blocked.
No, I'm not too sure. No.
They were for a while. I mean, there were some channels that were like designed as kids shows.
Correct.
And
correct.
they had no comments allowed.
Oh.
And I thought that's partially why Casey Neistat was so careful never to actually show his children in the video because of all these policies.
I'm not sure about that because what's his name? Manning always show his kids, his daughter, in the video.
Oh, right.
David Manning.
Yeah. David Manning. Yeah, I was thinking about that too because, yeah, when he was reviewing the new Insta360 Go, the star of the video was his daughter.
Yeah.
So clearly, but again, that video was not meant for kids.
Correct.
He wouldn't have to tick that box. It just happens to have his children in it.
Correct.
But again, I thought YouTube was very careful about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is the channel my kids watch.
Okay. It has comments.
There are lots of comments.
Okay. It's entirely possible they changed their policy.
Probably. My God, nearly 1 million views.
Wow.
Look at the subscribers.
What's going on here? Wow. What is it called? What's the name of the channel? It's like
MSA.
MSA.
My story animation something.
Like storytelling.
Yeah,
fairy
storytelling.
tales.
Yeah, it's all. How do I? Yeah, there you go. So it's all animated stories.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But I think if you look at their recent, latest 700, 2.3, 3.9, 4.3, 4.3.
Crazy. Yeah, well.
According to my daughter, it's only a 5-person team. Yeah. That's crazy, right?
No, animation.
Yeah.
Well, you would know more than me, but animation's time consuming.
Yeah, very.
That was always funny for me because I love The Simpsons and things like that. And The Simpsons seems like such a simple, the animation is not exactly sophisticated. But when you hear their production stories, behind the scenes stories, they need months and months and months of lead time.
Correct.
Because they have to send everything off to Japan, I think. They got all their animation done, but in other countries, and it can take weeks for them to get it back.
Of course.
And just those dumb-looking Simpsons cartoons, right? That animation, so time-consuming.
It is. But it's slightly easy if it's in 2D.
Yeah. So. Oh. So this is the SmallRig that I was talking about, and it's got some weight to it. Like,
yeah, it does.
Like, I mean that in a good way, that it feels solid. Doesn't feel like a toy. But that's because it's a charging case.
Yeah.
So it has a battery in it.
Yeah. Correct.
Do you know, like, how many charges you can get?
It says 30 hours. So on its own, it's 5 hours. So that is one.
So
6 times.
6 times.
Wow.
Can you charge anything else with it? Does it have enough output? You can't charge your phone or anything like that.
Because the only way out from here is actually this.
Oh, inside it.
Yeah, it's this point inside. Here, these two. That's it. There you go. Yeah. So the only thing is a bit flimsy, in the sense that it doesn't hold everything tightly together.
Okay.
So that one have to be careful. The 2-point here last night when I unpacked it, there was a plastic cover on these two
I see.
connector. So that's what I was like, why can't I turn it on and charge it? Okay, then I realized, okay. So, but the good news is that once you you plug it into your camera or whatever, you just take this out, it's paired.
Okay, it's just on.
Yeah, it's just on, and you just take it out, it's paired. So, and this is the battery indicator.
I won't. I won't make Daryl take it all out of the case during breakfast. He'll end up dropping it in his coffee. But I did promise Planet Doug viewers that you were going to tell us why you bought this. What were the features about the SmallRig? The SmallRig Wave WC1?
Yeah, WC1.
Yes. WC1. Yeah. What was it about that caught your eye that you thought it'd be something good to buy?
Well, as you know, I use the DJI Action 3, and the main thing is that it plugs into the socket, the USB-C cleanly and easily because of the design of the receiver. Yeah, which is this one, right?
I'm making him take it out.
Yeah,
anyway.
I have to, because then you have a better understanding of it. Because you can plug it in directly like this. Because the other USB-C wireless mice, it is very long because they made it for phones primarily.
Okay.
Yeah. So because if it's a phone, then you just plug it in like that and it flush at the bottom. It makes sense. But not for camera. Right? So especially the action cameras. So once you plug it in, you can just turn this around whichever way that suits, you know, your the form factor, I would say. So I find this very, very clean, especially for my DJI Action 3, and the main thing, I do not have to remove the flap, which if I use other things, even the DJI mic, you have to remove the flap.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's too big. So this one fits perfectly, I don't have to take it out. That being said, of course, I'm concerned about the connectivity because and moving about the camera, whether it will still damage the flap or not. But I think the only way to find out is to use it in the real world, which I haven't. So yeah, since I only got this yesterday night. Yeah. So but so far it's once I get used to the audio level and find the sweet spot, I think it will be fine. It's all about finding the sweet spot.
Well, I would just want it to be loud enough. That was my concern. Not really getting the sweet spot, but just
loud enough. Yeah.
Feels like you have to set it to the maximum, and you'll use the maximum all the time. But yeah,
I did read another video review for this SmallRig. Is that the guy said that he found the sweet spot to be 15 decibel plus on the DJI Action 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe if I do that and I lower this by 1 to 3, they have 4 levels in terms of audio levels. So on the SmallRig itself. So if I use 3 here and 15 on the Action 3, I think that would be a good experimentation. Yeah.
Makes me think about the differences between the Action 3 and the GoPro, because that's a USB-C microphone, right?
Yeah, it's USB-C.
It's a USB-C, but you can't use that with the GoPro. You can't plug a USB-C
you
mic.
can, right? On the medium mode?
No.
Oh, no, even on medium mode.
The whole thing is proprietary.
Oh, I see.
You have to use the 3.5 millimeter jack to plug in a microphone. Well, I'm saying that, but maybe I'm wrong. I've never tried.
Yeah.
But my understanding is no. There's no. Yeah, it's one thing we can test today.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Plug it into the GoPro, see if it makes a connection. But not that I need another microphone.
Of course.
Or at least not. I don't need another wireless microphone. I'm good as far as that's concerned.
Good one. Yes, of course. But for me, I accepted when I purchased this. Firstly, I got a good deal out of this. I think in total I paid about 180 ringgit for this.
So that's
including shipping.
That's one of the biggest advantages. Is it the price?
It's cheap, very compared to the Rode. I think it's 700 ringgit.
What about the Rode ME, the new simplified one?
Oh, that one I don't know. I know the original Rode is about 600 plus.
Okay.
The new Rode, which is what you have, the dual one is I think nearly 1,000 ringgit. So or 1,000 plus.
But then there's one more now.
Yeah,
The-
ME,
the
right?
ME.
Yeah, which that one I didn't know how much that was. But it's still much more expensive than this, that's for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. So, but I already, when I purchased this, I already accepted that the quality is going to be inferior to obviously the Rode or the DJI Max. I know that.
Right.
I know what I'm getting into. The only thing is because I like the small form factor and I'll be able to plug it in directly to the camera. So I don't have to bring too many things along with me. So as you know, I'm going to Sapa in a few weeks time. So I was looking at what my gear setup would be. So essentially I'm gonna have the Pocket 2, I'm gonna have DJI Action 3, this, and obviously the windshield once it arrives either today or tomorrow. I'll test that out as well because I can just take it out and use it. And the good news is that although I've covered my DJI Action 3 with the windshield, I can still use this because that opening
okay.
is, I can just open it and plug it in, right? So, and viewing a lot of videos of people in Sapa and all that, obviously because in the mountains and all that, it can be quite windy, right? So I think this is a necessity for me. And then of course I still have my phone as well. So my phone, I usually use it more for photos, or some quick Instagram portrait shots or videos that I can post on Instagram. So things like that. But that's my gear so far. I'm not bringing my deity because it's quite big, and I'm only bringing that little bag that you see at the corner there.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, that's all I'm bringing, and all of that fits in there.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that fits in there perfectly, including the DJI battery pack.
Oh, you need clothing and stuff.
Oh no, I have my own luggage. But what I mean is that
I thought that's all you were taking to Vietnam. It's like, wow, I've heard minimalist, but not to that level. Okay.
Yeah. For gears, that's all I'm bringing.
Okay.
So as long as all fits in there, I'm happy. Yeah, I think that will work. Yeah. Yesterday, as mentioned, I was going through the mount, which one I'm going to bring to Vietnam as well, which is why I tried the other one. I was like, what the
that's
heck
like
is this? And I was not the one who found it. It's actually my daughter. She was like, I was like, what are you doing?
As I told you last night, I don't often laugh aloud. I don't guffaw as a rule. I saw that video of you. I laughed, and I don't often laugh. And that was funny.
Yeah. Alright, check this out. I just transferred my DJI Action 3 to the DJI mount, I guess, that came with the camera, the adventure pack. But I didn't realize it could do this. Check this out. Holy crap! That is very far! Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Like, took you that long to discover.
Yeah, I really didn't know.
But it's not going in your bag.
It is.
It is.
I'm going to use it because I have it in my bag right there. But the key thing is because of the wobblingness of the Ulanzi. I couldn't use it because of that. You can still hear the rattling
That
sound.
little bit of.
So I think I'm not using that. Although I love that thing because it's everything all in one plus the tripod as well. This one doesn't have a tripod feet, so I have to but I have one, so I'm gonna use it for that. But on its own, it's too big for this bag as well, so I have to remove the tripod feet and put it in. So
Collapse at home.
yeah. But if I'm gonna walk around in Sapa, I don't think I need the tripod feet, right? So you never know.
Yeah, it seemed to me like a 360 stick, you know, because you get those really long ones for 360 cameras to get the fake drone shot. You know? That's what it looked like.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's my first thought as well. That's too long, my God.
Well, you know,
and it was heavy as well when I was holding it.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
Once you get even the weight of an action camera at the end of a long.
at the end of it.
Actually, I was gonna make a joke about it because in the video I could see your arm holding it, and it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're like the tendons are like.
I was like, oh my god, it's so heavy. Crazy.
Yeah, I've mentioned I'm on WhatsApp chatting quite often with a Planet Doug subscriber from the US who's very technical. We're always talking about mounting things, systems, and he developed his own design. He designs everything himself. He designed a counterweight system because the problem with that long stick is you're holding it at the end and the twisting force is too strong.
Yes, correct.
But if you put a counterweight on the end of it, then suddenly the weight is holding it up.
Correct.
You just have to balance it there,
balance it.
and it's much easier. So, you know, sort of like you got that long stick, instead of holding it at the very end, you sort of shorten your grip, like with a baseball bat.
Correct.
Gives you more, you know. And he puts a
Wow.
counterweight on the end. And he was talking about.
But definitely you still give up something to add that weight, right? I don't know how it looks like. But I mean, you're gonna give up something to have that.
Well, the whole unit is just going to be much heavier overall.
Oh yeah, okay.
But even though it's heavier, it's easier to hold on to because the weight is balanced from that end to this end.
Correct.
And you know, he was talking about something I've thought about in the past. Where remember, like marching bands, you always have the people at the front that are carrying the flags, and they have a harness on their belt. There's a little cup, and the flagpole sticks in the cup. And I was thinking, you know, you could have that with, you know, a camera, you know, walk around with this harness, and this thing goes here, you know, totally hands-free. You're just walking around with this thing sticking in front of you. Hey, hands-free. It's like, how ridiculous do you want to look? But actually, all of our deep dive into audio, for me, it all started with Dale Phillip.
Correct.
Because I noticed his videos, he has just the GoPro, nothing else, just the GoPro. You know, and the audio seemed okay. You know, he was picking up his voice, the voice of other people, ambient sound. And then the advantage of that, you think about it, if all you have is a GoPro with a little mini tripod, and that's all you carry with you, like, and of course his videos are immensely popular, and so if that's all you need, why
add more?
Why do I have so much camera gear? You know? Because there may be situations you're not filming because it's just too much trouble. Like, oh, I don't want to get out my road and plug it into the GoPro and get the wire. But if all you ever use is a bare GoPro and nothing else, how would that affect the ease of filming? You know?
Correct.
And that's when I did that. Started testing, comparing the sound of the GoPro with the Rode.
It's a huge appeal for me as well. If I can do it exactly like Daryl, I will do it. And it was reaffirmed yesterday with Darren's video as well.
Okay.
So, it sounded great to me, especially in my car, in the 8 speakers situation. It sounded great because when I was in my car, I could listen to the waves, I could listen to the surrounding, and his voice was still clear to me. So that was great.
Speaking of that, we could do a test right now because I have the Media Mod.
Okay.
I can switch over to the Media Mod microphone and we'll see whether it how it
quite
works.
close as well.
So this is the first audio test of the day for Planet Doug. We've now switched the GoPro to the Media Mod, and the audio I'm hearing now that if this is on YouTube, you're also hearing this is the audio coming from the built-in microphone of the GoPro Media Mod, front-facing one. So,
But from the front, you can't tell that it's front, right?
no, there's no indication what's going on. You have to remember.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Yeah, I think all the audio is the same, even for the Action 3. You won't know what the audio setting is like because they can't display on the screen. You gotta know. famous. Camping lagi satu dengan sichang. Kurang ais. That's all yours.
Well, there's no.
Oh man, I'm so full.
I've been eating a lot lately, but well, we'll see what happens. I'll start.
Yeah, don't worry if you can't finish. You can just use the whole book.
Well, seems rude.
No, but I ate already.
I will.
I'm good.
And this particular test started with a friend of ours and fellow YouTuber. I talked about him in another video, actually, Remote Darren. And Remote Darren is currently in Taipei, in Taiwan. And he's shooting vlogs, walk and talk vlogs on a GoPro, but he uses the media mod, the microphones in the media mod. And Daryl was saying it sounded good to you.
Yeah, it sounded good. We can do a test later as well in the car. You can hear the difference.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
But my problem with this goes back to like GoPro design, because the media mod has two microphones, one on the front, one on the back, but you can only use one at a time.
Yeah.
So you constantly have, every time you turn the camera around, you have to stop recording, go into the menu, change to the rear facing microphone, close the menu, and then you start again. Now you turn the camera. Oh, I'm going to change the microphone. You have to remember to change it.
Correct.
You forget all the time. So GoPro Media Mod is poorly designed. You should be able to use both mics at the same time. Just set it to both mics, front and back, and now you're done.
Or just put a switch on top.
Or a switch on top.
Switch.
Yeah, but even that.
But even that, yeah. Okay, thank you.
And it's the guy.
Cheers.
Dude. That's spicy?
Slightly, yes.
Or maybe I bit into a pepper.
I don't know. It's slightly spicy.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a belacan. Belacan is what's that? Prawn paste chili. Prawn paste chili. So you what's that? Use the water to mince it. Basically. Okay. You put chili, the prawn paste, and some sugar as well. That's what you get.
Yeah. I was thinking of like last night, another difference you told me about I wasn't even aware of, GoPro DJI Action 3. Because you were talking about changing the audio settings on the Action. Right?
Yeah.
Can't do that on a GoPro. No, I looked. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
So
Just now within that settings, there's no such thing.
No.
Oh.
There are microphones. You can choose different microphones. I never understood the difference. It's like standard plus, but it's more about whether the microphone is powered or not, whether it has a power source or it doesn't. Whether you can't set it to -9 decibels or +6 decibels. You can't do that in the GoPro.
To be fair as well, Action 1 do not have that feature too.
Oh, okay.
It was introduced in Action 3, but they only allow you to gain. You cannot minus. Okay, until the latest firmware. The latest firmware can now -20. Plus 20, -20. So you have 40 to play around.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I've watched about 1 billion video reviews about the GoPro and the DJI Action 3. No one has ever mentioned this difference. Not one reviewer has ever brought it up.
Yeah, you're
Seems
right.
like an important feature.
If you use external audio, yes.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Two backpackers just went by.
Oh, okay. I can't believe they don't. Wait, let me see. GoPro audio level.
If you find it and it exists, since we're sitting here, maybe I'll try plugging in your SmallRig, if that's okay.
Sure.
Do a test. I don't think it'll work.
Oh yeah, I'm curious as well. But you need an adapter for it, right? As we spoke yesterday.
Well, no, you said Like, this has a USB-C in the media
Oh, it
pod.
has? Ah,
yeah,
I see,
yeah,
I
yeah. So you're saying you can, I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You can just plug it into the USB-C.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it won't work.
Okay.
I don't think it has an audio input on the USB-C.
I see. We'll find out.
Find out. So breakfast is over. There's Daryl. He's got to go to work now. He's going to drop me off back at my hotel, and I'm going to check out some of these audio files, the testing we did. We're running and gunning. DJI Action 3 over there, GoPro over here. I just wanted to fire up the GoPro right now because we're actually passing, this is the same street where Yut Kee is located, and I had never noticed this before. But check this place out. Japanese restaurant, Wagyu Master, fine dining and Japanese yakinku. It looks like an older building, like a historic building that's been restored, perhaps. I suppose it. No, yeah, I think so. And of course, they've incorporated some Japanese elements out front too. This archway and the flowers there. What do you call those? Cherry blossoms? Yeah. And the Fuba Kitchen and Bar. And that's, yeah, Yut Kee right there. A couple of towers, as always. I don't know what, this looks like a fancy hotel of some kind. Oh, they got Queen Bee, Indian fusion cuisine. For marketing, that seems to be a good idea. No matter what your restaurant is, just add fusion to the name, and it makes it sound very modern and trendy. Yeah, hotel here, right? But I don't see the name of it anywhere. Oh, there it is. Stripes. Stripes. Never heard of it before. Huh. Interesting. So, yeah, gotta go catch up with Daryl. Where is he? Hey. Where did he go? I'll find him. I haven't found Daryl. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he parked. Maybe he'll realize I'm missing and come find me. Yeah, there might be a car parked nearby. But yeah, I just wanted to point out a couple other restaurants that are here. So it's kind of a happening street. I just passed by this place I've never noticed before. It says it's a noodle place. Portuguese tarts, freshly baked daily. And yeah, I don't see a name anywhere. I thought I saw a sign with a name, but yeah, very interesting little place. And there's something over, oh, there he is. Look at this guy, vlogging up a storm.
Yeah, you must be talking up a storm as well.
Well, I lost you. I didn't know where you went. So I stopped because I noticed all these restaurants here and that hotel.
Yes, yes.
I
brother stayed there a few months ago. He said it's beautiful.
Oh.
This is actually another cafe I wanted to take you to.
Oh, okay, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking about that one.
Yeah. It opens at 7:30 as well. I just realized when I
Oh.
passed by this morning. So next time we can meet here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized I don't have the road on you anymore, so we don't have your voice anymore, but that's okay.
And then on the left-hand side, there are a lot of cafes there as well. I think I had breakfast with Daryl. I was just sharing on camera that was very nice bagel.
Yeah, this whole neighborhood is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So this is, yeah, Gavin Kitchen, Coffee Kitchen and Craft Beer.
Coming.
Like that. Okay, and would this be the street with, oh yeah, bike artisans right there.
Correct.
Yeah, the bike shop. Okay, so now I know where I am. Yeah. Okay.
A lot of cafes as well.
Yeah, there's all the cafes here as well.
The only issue here is parking.
Well, that's a KL issue, right? Parking.
But
Just-
there are a few, but they're so expensive. Skyline.
Yeah. I'm constantly aiming my GoPro up and talking about the skyline because there's so many of these skyscrapers. And I guess that's why every Malaysia first time to KL video is always shocked, amazed, because nobody's expecting all these skyscrapers. You know, when they come to Malaysia, when they come to KL, they're like, what? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of restaurants, cafes all up and down this street, right beside authentic northern Sri Lankan cuisine. Yarl, or Yari? No, Yarl. Yeah, well, this street used to be really big for nightclubs, right? This was a clubbing street. I read about that. So this almost certainly was a nightclub of some kind. But if anyone wanted to open up a new fusion restaurant, just rebuild this. Cost you a fortune, but it would look pretty good when it was done. All right, I'm back in my neighborhood after a really nice breakfast with Daryl. He's gone off to work. And Daryl and I might meet up again on Friday. He has errands to run. And he says on Friday I can ride shotgun if I'm in the mood. And I may do that. Just turn the camera around because of the pigeons. Yeah. People feed them here. And I thought something scared them, but no, that's not the case. Somebody threw food over there, so then the whole flock flew over there where they knew food was being distributed. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was walking along here the other day, and that's when I saw the monitor lizard. Yeah, it was just down here, like 4.5, 5 feet long. Here comes some of the pigeons. Huh, I wonder if they saw me standing here and they assume or they hope that I'm here to give them food. But no, sorry buddies, I'm just shooting video. So here I am down near the main flock. Looks like somebody tossed down some food, so the whole flock is coming in. All right, that is it for this morning. I'm gonna shut down the camera, shut down the video, and I'll see you in the next one.